Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a new Jack Wolf Knives knife to talk about. This is the Primo Jack. This is their newest locking knife. This knife is dropping today, Valentine's Day, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time at all your favorite dealers. I'll put links down below. If you use my links, it does help the channel, but again, that is always up to you guys. Traditional pocket knives will have these. Urban Cutlery should have them, amongst others. That'll be down there. And then I always link the dealer list as well if you want to try to find a certain version or get it from a specific place or you live in Europe, etc. Now, the Primo Jack, I gotta say, guys, I said this in a reel I posted last week. When Jack Wolf Knives announced this a couple weeks ago, my immediate reaction was another locking Jack Wolf knife. I really love them, but I kind of missed the slip joints. So I kind of was like, oh man, I wish it was a slip joint. So my initial reaction, to be honest, was a little pin of disappointment. But when the knife showed up and I took it out of the box, that all turned into just sheer giddiness at the fact that this is the best Jack Wolf knife, locking knife that I have handled thus far. And I've handled all of them, so there's that. But yeah, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. They nailed it on almost all the aspects on this knife. So, it is awesome. I gotta say, it's awesome. I still wish that we had some more slip joint designs. Some new slip joint designs would be sick. But obviously, you gotta play to the market. And I guess the market is saying, make locking knives because people will buy them. So, totally understand that. I just wanted to give you guys my honest reaction. But I don't know if you can hear the acoustics. You can obviously see the action. But it is just phenomenal, guys. It's hard to describe how good this one is because I was super impressed with the Bionic Jack. Now, the thing with the Bionic Jack is it's awesome and it's beautiful. But it's not the most ergonomic knife. And I kind of like the long pulls on most of the other locking knives where the Bionic has sort of a nail nicky kind of fuller deal. It works great. It's a great knife. I love it. It's a little flashy, right? This one is just like, it's just right. It's the best way for me to put it. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised because I absolutely love the Little Bro Jack. And this is part of the Bro family, we'll call it. This is a cousin. So Primo, I guess, in Italian means cousin. So this is the cousin Jack. And maybe eventually they'll come out with the simple Jack. But, you know, you never go full retard, if you know what I'm saying. A little nod to Tropic Thunder right there. I love that movie. Sorry. This is what the knife came with. Comes with the Jack Wolf Knives box. Of course, has a story on the back that you can pause and read whenever you feel like it. Sorry. Pause, read. Okay. Here is the artwork. This is a first run of a design. So this artwork, I'm guessing, is done by Sean Tiffany. You can see Sean Tiffany right there. If it was a secondary or a follow-up, I don't know what you would call it, second batch, second run, then it would be done by Geeone. But yeah, phenomenally done. You can see there is the cousin Jack hanging out. He's got his old Primo jacket on. Primo Jack. Says Lobos right there. Pretty cool, right? It did come with a filler tab, and it came in a baggie this time. So shout out to the fulfillment team. you can see here is the clip, and you can remove that clip. You have to take the knife apart to do so, just to warn you. And then you pop in the filler tab. It actually came with a screw, which is interesting. Normally, I don't remember them having a screw with them, so maybe this one takes a different screw or something. I'm not sure. But that was in there. And then, of course, you get 2 stickers. Let me get these out of here. It's always hard to get stickers out of these tubes. And I'm probably going to give one of these to my daughter. She has a wall going out. Look at that. I didn't even realize. He's got like a mustache, I think. I think that's like a handlebar mustache. That's great. And then you get the Pog, of course, and a fantastic cloth. I love their cloths. They're so good. And they're not cheap, guys. I buy cloths for Divo knives. I just ordered 3,000 more, and it was like, I don't know, $5,000. It's like $5,000 for 3,000 cloths. They're like $1.60 or something like that. And these cloths are great. They're kind of like mini terry cloth towels, right? They're really good. The ones that Jack Wolf has, I think, feel a little bit nicer material. They're a little softer microfiber or something. I think they're a little better, to be honest. And they have really cool colors. I looked into it, and geez, as far as I could tell, they were like $4 a pop or something like that. So you're getting quality cloths in there. You know, they're not cheap. All right, that was gonna go to my daughter. I'm gonna put this away. We're gonna keep jibber jabber in here. I'm gonna open this up, and then I'm gonna grab the Bro family to show you comparisons. We of course have the Big Bro and the Little Bro. And I actually just sold my Wizard of Oz, the Oz Kieranite Big Bro from the, I think it was like a couple months ago. I finally decided I was going to start selling the duplicates I have. I just don't need one from every single drop. That's what I had before. I'm just going to do one of every model. I think that's enough. So anyway, this one's really special. This is the original Little Bro Jack. This is the one that was actually unreleased. Well, it was recalled in the copper dark matter. This was gifted to me by Ben over at Jack Wolf Knives. And I obviously have a sentimental connection with this one. So I do have 2 of the Little Bros. But this one is an actual production run version or whatever, released version. And I just love Flow Party. Camo carbon. It's very similar to 80s, but this is the Little Bro. Okay. And then you have the Big Bro right here. They have probably the best walk and talk. I would say some of the best walk and talk of any Jack Wolf or any slip joint, honestly. They're both just phenomenal, and even this first run, so good. So then you have the Primo Jack. So you can see the family here. Obviously, they switched it up a little bit for their locking knives and their more recent releases. So you have the triple fluted bolster. You do not have the end bolster. You just have a scale that goes to the end. So that's a little different. I didn't mention this yet because I've just been rambling, but this is the gold dark matter version. So you have gold dark matter camo carbon, and then you have gold accents. So you have a beautiful full-length gold backspacer. Look at that, dude. That is the sexiest backspacer I think ever. And then you have a gold clip, gold anodized hardware even on this one. You have their dark blasted or aluminum oxide blasted bolster. And then you have a beautiful belt satin in S90V steel. So the last couple releases, I did not actually choose the version that they sent me. They're just sending me ones now. I really love this one. So I'm really glad they sent me this one. It is interesting when I look at the gold dark matter. I don't know if this is standard for gold dark matter. Maybe I have one here I can look at, but it's got like this interesting, like, it's got the sheen to it. It's got the gold throughout. And then, I don't know, it has those sort of like liquid looking spots. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't think they're voids because there's nothing, like, it's completely smooth. It's very, very smooth. So I think that's just the pattern or something. Let me see if I have something in gold dark matter. I think I might have a Lush. Come on, do I have one? No. Maybe I might have sold that one or let it go or whatever. Do I have a... All right. I don't think I have anything in gold dark matter currently that I can think of. So can't really double check that, but it is contoured as well. So anyway, it has a really cool look. Just got like a sheen to it that I'm not used to. But maybe that's because I see a lot of camo carbon these days. I love camo carbon. And so maybe just that fat carbon's a little bit different. And it's got more of that sheen over the top, where this is more like matte, if that makes sense. So let's get these out of the way. And I will show you some comparisons to the locking knives that they have. Let me grab those real quick. I figure if anybody wants to see comparisons, it's a good time to do that, right? I think there's 4 other ones. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe there are these 4 models, 5 total now. So you have the original gunslinger jack. Beautiful purple haze fat carbon there. You have the after hours jack. That one came next. Also beautiful. Purple haze. You have the Benny's clip, which is the largest one, I think. This is my least favorite. It's also my least favorite of the slip joint, so it kind of makes sense. Let me move this up. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the after hours because it's a sheep's foot. Then you have the bionic jack. This is what I was talking about earlier. It has more of a shorter fuller there that does work really well. And then it's just, this one's a bit fancy, which I like. It's great. But, you know, this one also kind of fancy, but with the belt satin and everything, it just kind of is a little more my style. And man, the ergos are really good on this. There's no hot spots here. The bro, I guess the bro handle, the bro handle is really comfortable in hand, I gotta say. There's a little bit of jimping up here, but it's not aggressive or anything. It feels good. You can choke up, no problem. Pinch grip is no problem. Now, of course, it is a clip point blade. That's going to be the you know, one kind of preference-wise thing that I don't like. I much prefer a sheep's foot blade like this because I do a lot of utility cutting. Now, there is something to note about that, though. All the other clip point locking knives, because if you're with me on this, you probably don't love a clip point blade for your actual EDC, right? But let me show you something real quick. So if we put all of these kind of together here, these clip points, we can talk about them right quick. So you'll notice that there's a big difference between the Bro and especially the Benny's clip and the Bionic jack, but also somewhat the Gunslinger. So if you look at this, it has what I call a rhino's horn. So that clip point, the blade, the edge comes to here and then it bellies all the way up. It just bellies up to the top, right? So you get a lot of belly and you get a high tip that's sort of swept upwards. So when you want to go utility cut, you do utility cutting with this, you have to get all the way up here to get that tip down in there, because otherwise you're just hitting that belly, right? Makes sense? And with the Benny's clip, you have a similar deal. Belly up to tip. Tip is not quite as upswept. Well, they're almost identical, actually. Very similar. But honestly, they almost make me want to flip them over and try to use them like this. The problem is you have no edge underneath, so all you get is that tip. You can't slice really. So that's one of the things I really don't like about this blade shape. The knives are beautiful, so if you love them and you like that blade shape, great, right? Or if you don't use them much, okay. The gunslinger is a little bit better, obviously. You can see it has that belly, but then it kind of goes straight to the tip, and that tip is more in line with the pivot. See that? See how the pivot's right here, and that tip is like right there. And it's more of a straight out tip. So if you're going to do utility cutting, you don't have to lift up as high with this one, but you still have to do it a little bit, right? Now we get to the bro jack, and you'll see the tip is almost in line with like what you would see on a spear point, because it's a little bit of belly and then just straight out instead of more upwards on the gunslinger. Instead of rounded and all the way swept up, it comes out forward, kind of like a dagger, right? So what you end up with is actually a relatively decent tip for utility cutting, because I just have to kind of lift to here to get to that tip. That's pretty good. Now, obviously, on a sheep's foot, I'm like right there, right? So it's not quite as good as a sheep's foot, but it is much, much better than the other clip points that we have here. This one, I'm up here. And then, of course, with these, I am way up here. So I want to point that out, because this is probably the most utility-friendly Jack Wolf clip point blade. And that's why I still love the little bro and big bro, because I can still use that blade pretty well. Size comparisons, just so you guys can see them. I didn't really go over them, but obviously I showed it. Here you go. They're all about the same. They all have like a 3.2 inch blade, basically. I think this one might be like 3.3 or 3.25 or something, but they're all in the same kind of realm, so to speak. Now, all of these have skiff bearings in them, and I have not touched this one. I've been playing with it all week, for 2 weeks, I guess now, and I just have not felt the need. They did upgrade their bearings, so the manufacturer of the knives now uses a solid caged bearing. We found that out on the last batch of After Hours Jack. And I know Ben asked them if they could add more ceramic balls to them. I don't know if they would have done that by now. But being honest, it feels fantastic. It fires out. The detent is so good on this one. And just a little shake. And I mean, I literally have not put oil on it. I have not done anything. I've just carried it. And, you know, there's no play, no rock. It's perfectly centered. So I just feel kind of silly taking it apart and doing that at this point. And I'm going to refrain, I know. But if you want to know how to take it apart, I have a video on every other Jack Wolf Knives locking knife to show disassembly, except maybe this one. I can't remember, because that one was a little bit tough. I couldn't get this scale out. But they're all the same. So, you know, construction's the same. You just insert knife and you'll get the gist of it. But the hollow grind is fantastic. Really, really thin. Look at that tip. Just beautiful. Nice and slicey. It's got a good size handle. So I have a little bit sticking out there, but I can spread my hand out. Right? I would love to see, you know, a mini Primo, a little bro locking knife, but I've been saying that about every knife that they come out with. I just would love to see a smaller locking knife. And then, you know, maybe they could do an XL too for you guys who like the large ones. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What else can I tell you? It's the front flipper. You know, I'm going to give it my usual critique where I wish the jimping went up and around. You know, if the jimping was up here as well, I think you'd be able to get a better grip up here. But with that said, it's possibly the best one they've done. I really did like the Bionic. It's very just usable. It's less of a tab, but I can get really good traction on it, and I can do all the moves, right? I can do the rollback, the reach around, and of course the standard front flip on it. And then you have the reverse flick, and you could probably thumb flick it if you practice. Give it a little wrist. Yeah, there you go. But it's more similar to the ones on these two, right? But for some reason, it just seems a little bit better. This one works pretty well, but it can kind of poke you sometimes if you miss it. Same with this one. This one feels a little low. But for some reason, this one just, I think it's because it's set back slightly and comes up more. If you compare them, you can see where the tab is. This tab is basically completely in the handle there. This one sticks out. And then on the Benny here, you'll see same thing. That one sticks out the front a little bit. It's more angled forward. This one's more angled like straight up, and it just, man, I mean, I don't know if you can hear that, but it is thundering out of there. The detent feels stronger. Not sure if it is. Maybe a little bit. I mean, mine are all very similar. Yeah, they all feel almost identical, but just something about the way they did it on this one, it just works so well. One thing to note is it does seem like the fuller is a little tighter in on the frame. So if you struggle with you know, holes where they're a little bit closer to the frame, like you got to actually kind of get in there a little bit. If you have really big sausage fingers or something, it might be an issue. I will admit that sometimes I feel like I'm not going to get it, but it always fires out. So your finger gets caught by that nice and sharp fuller. And that's, you know, they always do a great job with that. But if you look at something like the After Hours, you have much more room there to get a finger in and flick it. If you look at the Gunslinger, you have more room because you have that, what am I trying to say? You have that gun stock handle. The Benny's clip sits up more. The Bionic sits out more, right? You always have that space between the fuller and the frame. This one is just a lot tighter there. You can obviously just come down to the bottom and flick it, or you can do what I do and just go for it and it fires. Like I said, it catches your finger. But maybe if you had sausage fingers, you might not get your finger in there. I don't know. So I just want to mention that. But it's my favorite in terms of the deployments, the action. It feels wonderful. It's definitely my favorite with the reach around because that tab is further in the handle and it's more of a slimline handle compared to some of them. Like this one feels a little fatter. This one's definitely fatter. This one's not, but it's just, you know, different design on it. You can just get to that tab a little bit easier, especially with the reach around. You know, I'm not concerned about, like on this one, the jimping stops there and the tab's a little lower. You know, I can get it, no problem. This one is the one that I worry about a little bit because sometimes I miss it because that jimping stops down here. And this is like a rounded nub at the top. And if you slide over that, it can kind of hurt a little bit. But again, they all work great. There's, you know, this one is just, I think, the most dialed in. So you can tell that they took feedback, they listened, they improved on previous designs, and that's the kind of stuff you want to see from a knife company, you know. So they did a great job on the flipper tab and the action and everything. So I guess the question for you guys is going to be, if I have a gunslinger, or if I have a bionic, or I have a Benny, do I need the Primo jack, right? That's what I think a lot of people are going to ask. Like, is it just going to be redundant, you know, if I have these other ones? And obviously the design is different. So right there, if you're someone who wants to collect them all Pokemon style, well, then obviously you need one, right? One other thing I want to note is the bolster, or the frame lock, is probably the longest, maybe tied with the after hours here for the longest. So if you're like me and you're left-handed, you want to consider that. You'll see these three are very short. So it's good for a lefty because you don't have to worry about the lock bar. You're not going to get your finger on the lock bar and stop it from letting you deploy the knife, right? On the after hours, it's a little bit longer, so you can end up here. But it has not been a problem for me on this knife because you kind of naturally come down lower on it for whatever reason, just the design. On this one, it's the same. I have not had that issue. Ben from Jack Wolf is a lefty, so I think he makes sure to test that when he's prototyping. And you can see just naturally where my hand lands, it's under that frame lock. I'm on the scale. So it's not an issue. Plus, I'm pretty sure if you were on there, let's see. Yeah, still lets me fire it. So the frame lock is not an issue. I did notice it when doing this once or twice. I kind of had my finger out here, and it kind of slows it down, or if you put enough pressure on there, it will bind it up. But it's not really causing any issues. So pressure issues are sort of a non-factor here. The closing action is wonderful. I mean, again, this is without any tuning or disassembly or anything. Actually, while we're here, take a Q-tip and some KPL, and we can, oh, what am I doing? I want the heavy. We can put a little bit on the detent ball and see if it makes it a little more drop shut. I have used the knife quite a bit, so maybe it's worn a track, and a little bit of oil will do the trick. Mine has sort of a ting to it. It kind of reminds me of the, if you guys had the first batch of gunslingers, the first batch of gunslingers had that ting sound to it. This is one of those. And it just has like a ring, especially when you close it for whatever reason. I don't know if you can hear it through the camera, but it's really cool. This doesn't have that, but it has something. It's got its own acoustic. It's really nice. I think it's also just like super snappy, and that helps a lot. So I'm doing this because it gets that oil moving, and then it also will transfer any just to the end of the lock bar there. And I didn't open it all the way because I didn't want to get any on the lock bar. You'll see here, a lot of that oil transfers over to the tang, which is going to contact with the lock bar. So it's better, I find, to open and close it a bit without fully opening it and get some of that oil before you do a full flip. And then usually I have to clean it a couple of times as well. So let's see, that was nice, of course. So now it's shook down like that, pretty standard. And it might be a little bit smoother. We'll see how that wears in, but I mean, it's already fantastic. It's not going to be a guillotine, at least mine isn't out of the box. It's a super lightweight blade. You have a lot of material taken off for that beautiful hollow grind. But I mean, you can see it's smooth as shit. And I'm sure if I put skiffs in here or just took it apart and kind of tightened it just tight enough to get no play. I could probably get it to be more like my after hours. But this, you got to know, has more material out here. It's a little bit heavier out here, so it swings more. It's just kind of physics. Where this has more weight back here, so it's not going to do that. It's the pendulum kind of theory or whatever. Yeah, it's excellent, guys. So to answer the question, only you guys can answer that question for yourself. If it's your first Jack Wolf locking knife you're looking at, I would definitely say I recommend it. 100% get it if you have the money and it's what you want to do. Obviously, I'm not saying go get it, you have to, or I'm going to come after you. Don't blame me if your wife gets mad. But if you have some already and you're wondering, should I pick this one up? I think it's worth it because it's the best one. They've refined it. Is it small things? Yes, it's small things. Not everyone's going to notice the things I'm talking about and be like, oh my God, it's so much different. No, it's not that much different than the original Gunslinger that released. But there's minor improvements here that I think really make a difference for me. I want to carry this knife more than I want to carry this knife, if that makes sense. Also, the blade shape just lends itself more to wanting to be in my pocket. I carried this for a week straight. Did not want to pop anything in my pocket more. And I used it. It felt great. It cuts well. I do have some cardboard here. We can show you. They are really thin, hollow grinds. So you can see it kind of just destroys the cardboard there. I will say the factory edges, that is one critique I would have for the OEM. I think they could work on their factory edges a little bit. I'm not like a hard use kind of guy or anything, and I usually find that after, sometimes just out of the box, I almost want to get it sharpened. That's just me. It's definitely a good edge. It definitely works. It's usable. You could strop it up. It's it's not bad or anything. But sometimes I like to have that like sticky razor sharp edge, and I'll send mine off to Corey Dunlap to get an edge put on. But I have had some where the edge, like it struggled through paper even after just a little bit. So that's one critique I would have, and maybe the OEM could work on that a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is the Primo Jack. It's Primo. It's fantastic. They did a great job. I don't know what else to say. You guys let me know what you think down below. Are you going to pick one up? Which version are you going to pick up? I guess I could show you the versions. I haven't actually looked at all of them. You can pick them up at Jack Wolf Knives as well. They sell directly now. So they have a black linen micarta. So for the micarta guys out there, micarta's back lately. So you have a hand satin. You have what looks like kind of rose goldish colored, or bronze, I guess, colored anno. And then you have a hand satin. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of your rebel. That's your rebel version right there. If you're a rebel, check that one out. If you're a pimp like me, if you be big pimping, then you should get the dark matter gold. If you're someone who hunts or, you're old school, then the rosewood probably makes sense. It is hand satin, so maybe it's not great for hunting. I don't know. I would think the micarta or the rosewood would lend itself for people who like hunting or whatever, more outdoorsy people. The Kieranite Crystal Lake, if you have the Little Bro in Kieranite Crystal Lake, you're probably going to want this. I personally do not love the Kieranite handles. and it's because they're kind of slick in my hands, especially for the slip joints. I found, geez, the freaking messages. The slip joints, just like the little bro, it was kind of hard to fidget with because I would slip on it all the time. So this might be better because you have that bolster there and you have a clip you can grab if you're right-handed. But, you know, it has satin accents, and then it looks like it has a belt satin blade. That's really nice. Are there more this time? There's like 6 versions. Right? Am I crazy? There's a white bone, smooth white bone, and then blast and tumble looks like, or maybe all dark blast and belt satin. That's pretty damn cool. And then you have a smooth yellow bone. So maybe it's the same knife. They just did yellow and white, I guess, just to have it be different. There's usually an exclusive. So are there 7 versions this time? That seems like a lot. Let's see. Let's pull up. Okay, so here's a look at the Primo jack, and they usually show the exclusive when you slide over. So I think the white bone ones are the exclusives, and maybe they're exclusive directly through Jack Wolf. Is that what's happening? Yeah. That micarta one does look really sick. They all look great, guys. Which is awesome, of course. Do they want to show us? That's the big bro. I'm just trying to see if there's a... Usually they have a reel or something showing the exclusive, but I don't even see those bone ones anywhere. Those are big bro jacks, right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're... Hold on, let's see. Valentine's Day. Here's a reel. That's not going to show us, I don't think. Here's shaky hands, TJ, what up? They do a lot of posts, so there's Ben. If you guys don't know Ben, there's his ugly mug right there. Trying to see if there's an exclusive. Oh, look at who's this loser. Man, that is beautiful though, isn't it? Blade HQ showing theirs. All right, maybe we have when did they announce it, I guess? Okay. Anyway, there's another one. That's my wife. Wants me to hang out with the baby, so I might need to roll here. Okay, sorry. I think the white bone ones are the exclusive, and maybe it's direct on Jack Wolf, but you guys can let me know in the comments. I'm sure you guys know already. But yeah, fantastic knife. Not much else to say. And yeah, thank you to Ben for sending this out. As always, appreciate it. Keeps the Jack Wolf collection going. Oh, one other thing I want to mention is I did have a buddy say that the clip felt like the retention was light. It's another YouTuber. I don't want to, you know, in case it's, I don't know if it'll be in his review or whatever, but he said the clip felt light. Like it was too easy to kind of take in and out of pocket or something, like it shifted in his pocket. I didn't have any issues. It comes in and out of the pocket real easy. They all do. They're great clips. So to me, that's a positive, that it's almost like you don't notice the clip. When I don't mention a clip, it's because that clip is good. You know what I mean? For the most part, it's because I just used it and I didn't even think about it. So I like the clip a lot. It is lighter retention, I guess. I mean, it has plenty of retention. It's just maybe there's more room under here. I'm not sure. That person had the Kieranite one, so I'm wondering if maybe, like I said, that Kieranite is slick, it's smooth, it's slippery, and I think that would maybe add to that effect. But I carried this for a week and a half in my side, like, you know, hip pocket thing that I have on my pants, and it didn't shift, it didn't move, it didn't come out, nothing. It was great. So, you know, I just want to mention it. Somebody did say that, but I don't think that's any concern. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think. I love you. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.